It is a necessity to understand philosophy and doing philosophy. It involves discipline in understanding theories and principles that are applicable in all walks of life. Activity 2 shows accurate functions of senses and Activity 3 illustrates that simple thinking is not enough to make statements. These are relevant in understanding philosophy. Senses should not commit error when it provides data. As well as, appropriate judgment must be made based on reality. This implies that philosophy is a critical understanding on accurate data from reliable senses. To sum up, philosophy is a possession of in-depth knowledge, a quest for wisdom, a methodic type of thinking. Philosophy is not sensitive solely based on senses, based on preferences or feelings, simply a theory of something. Philosophy is a broad question about mind and the world, beyond the thought and the reality. The etymological definition of philosophy comes from two Greek words, philia means love, and sophia means wisdom. Hence, philosophy is a love of wisdom. Love involves unconditional interest and desire towards its object. In philosophy, the object is wisdom. Thus in understanding philosophy, it involves thinking process, analysis, compare and contrast of knowledge towards wisdom. Furthermore, it involves the proper use of body parts and its corresponding senses in order to look and understand ideas and objects in our mind and the world we live. This illustration shows the experience of seeing the sun excites person's mind to think and heart to feel. As an analogy, heart feels love, which is a strong desire for a particular object, and mind thinks of wisdom, which is a correct application of knowledge. What do you observe regarding person A and person B thinking? Is there difference in the minds of the two persons about the way they think what sun is? This activity of the mind of person A and B is the same with you who keep knowledge of what you had observed. However, you have different perspective on what is inside your mind. You have knowledge, information, beliefs, and opinion regarding things, creatures and daily happenings of the world. These intellectual possessions depend on your eyes, ears, noses and body organs. Yet sometimes, senses relay defective sensation or wrong data. Hence, what you know may not be perfectly precise. Looking at the illustration above, there is already critical understanding. The concept inside the mind of two persons corresponds to the manifestation of the object, sun. Each person possesses a way of looking at the object. Yet, the form/concept varies for person A who is thinking of sun rays and person B who is thinking on the circular shape of the sun. Each point of view is called partial perspective. Partial perspective is a view where one sees a phenomenon caused by a single factor or causal agency. A partial point of view looks at one side of thing and consider it as the absolute reality or the only cause of the series of movements or changes. Such as one aspect yet considered as everything about the object. Partial perspective in doing philosophy focuses on the specific aspect of a situation. Plato, a Greek philosopher, finds a way to solve the problem. According to Plato, form permeates the ability to think and understand what is inside the mind of the person. He said, to understand different concepts, there is a need for dialectic, a method of thinking the two opposite ideas then try to grasp new idea. Dialectic method allows person to know from one partial perspective to another perspective. Example. An example is COVID-19 pandemic situation. A healthy 21-year-old lad was confident that he cannot be infected and refused to follow all safety protocols. He lived his days to its fullest. Then one day, he felt ill and went to his doctor for checkup and underwent series of laboratory tests. Thereafter, he was diagnosed as infected with the virus. Is it possible that his thoughts about the pandemic still the same before his infection? Certainly, there will be a change of standpoint regarding this pandemic. Was it necessary to experience infection for him to change his thoughts about the pandemic? Definitely it is not necessary, because a person has mind to think, imagine, analyze, and find new ideas. This is what the dialectic method of Plato is all about. On the other hand, holistic perspective is a broad approach in understanding reality. Holistic perspective. It allows every and all possible aspects or factors that surrounds the object of interest or query. However, it acknowledges the presence of non-essentials and irrelevant details. It is objective and not sensitive. Thus, holistic perspective considers the bigger picture when looking at the problems and situations. Socrates was famous in his question and answer approach called as Socratic method. Through his Socratic method, knowledge and its application bring forth concept of wisdom. For him, the need to philosophize is driven by the love of wisdom. Philosophy is not simply a study of the different theories and principles about different social sciences, rather, philosophy is an activity, a quest for wisdom. What's more, perception on objects varies from one person to another. It is even possible that you may change your perspective when a new reliable and trustworthy information is available or truth surfaces. Let us carry on this activity. Follow the flow of storyline in illustrations A and B. Identify the difference between the two illustrations. Illustration A shows knowledge of the sun, such as sun rises, sun shines and sun sets. Science would explain the process of sunrise to sunset. This an example of partial perspective. We ask question, clarify and find an answer. Illustration B shows a holistic perspective. It considers the bigger picture when looking at the problems and situations. There are questions like, why does the world exist? Why does man exist? Why God exists? What is the meaning of all things that gives light, joy, and life?